Hey everyone, welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into a topic that honestly causes a ton of confusion: how to actually register to vote in Arkansas for the upcoming 2026 elections. We're going to cut through all the noise, look strictly at the official state rules, and give you the absolute most direct, step-by-step path to getting ready for Election Day. Now, you might have seen ads or articles online starting with a hook exactly like this. Are you ready to make your voice heard in Arkansas? Discover how you can register to vote online today and take your first step towards civic engagement with ease. It sounds great, right? That is exactly what so many people search for. It's literally the #1 question voters have when they decide it's time to get registered. You pull out your smartphone, you search for a portal, and you expect a quick digital form. So, can you just quickly register to vote online in Arkansas? Well, here's the massive reality check. No, you can't. Unlike 42 other states across the country, Arkansas absolutely does not offer a state-run online voter registration portal. You just cannot complete a fully paperless registration directly with the state. I know, right? It might be totally surprising, and that is exactly why we created this explainer, to bust that myth right out of the gate. We don't want you missing your chance to vote by relying on a process that legally doesn't exist in the state. Arkansas requires a physical paper process, period. Since you can't just click Submit online, here is our roadmap to get this done. First, we'll look at the online registration reality. Second, who is actually eligible? Third, the real steps to register. Fourth, valid voter ID requirements. And finally, those absolutely crucial 2026 election deadlines. All right, Section 1, the online registration reality. Let's get into it. So why is searching for an online portal so incredibly confusing in the first place? Well, it basically comes down to a tricky mix of technology and state law. You have two main avenues out there. On one hand, you've got the official state process, which is entirely analog. We're talking paper forms, ink pens, and delivering it in person or by mail. On the other hand, you have the third-party hybrid process. You might visit a civic website like vote.org or Get Loud Arkansas. Now, these sites offer a digital interface that feels a lot like online registration, but, and this is a huge but, they cannot send your data straight to the state. They just generate a PDF that you still have to print out and sign with a physical pen. That's what we call a wet signature. What's really fascinating about this current legal landscape is a 2025 state law known as Act 278. According to this law, voter registration forms cannot have any pre-filled fields, meaning you literally have to fill out the whole form by hand. There is an ongoing neutral court challenge regarding these wet signature and pre-filled form rules between advocacy groups and the state. We aren't taking any sides here whatsoever. We just want you to be fully aware that as the law stands right this second, you have to rely on good old-fashioned pen and paper. Okay, moving on to Section 2. Who is eligible? So you've got your pen ready, right? But before you fill a single thing out, we need to talk about who actually qualifies to cast a ballot in Arkansas. Here are the strict eligibility requirements. First off, you must be a U.S. citizen and an Arkansas resident. And let me clarify that second part, because it's super important. You must actually live in Arkansas for at least 30 days before the election. Just owning a house or a business in a county, not going to cut it for voting purposes. You also need to be at least 18 years old on or before the next election day. Next up, and this is a big one, you cannot have any undischarged felony convictions. This means your entire sentence, including probation, parole, and any financial obligations, must be 100% completely finished before your voting rights can be restored. And finally, you must not be presently adjudged mentally incompetent to vote by a court of law. That brings us to Section 3, how to actually register. Let's say you meet all those requirements. How do we get you on the voter rolls? Well, I love a good actionable checklist, and this is your foolproof 4-step guide to getting it done right. Step 1, obtain that paper form. You can grab one at your local county clerk's office, the DMV, public libraries, disability agencies, or military recruitment offices. Or you can just print a blank one right from the Secretary of State's website. Step 2, fill it out completely. Like we mentioned earlier, thanks to 2025's Act 278, you cannot use a form where your name or address is digitally pre-filled. You've got to write it all out and sign it with a pen. Step 3, mail it or hand-deliver it to your county clerk no later than 30 days before the election. Oh, and a quick pro tip here. If you happen to fill it out at a voter registration drive, the organizers legally have 21 days to turn it in, so definitely keep that in mind if a deadline is coming up fast. And remember, you're dealing with sensitive personal information here, so practice good data privacy by keeping track of your paperwork and giving it directly to official channels. Finally, Step 4, verify your status online. You can use the state's voter view portal to make absolutely sure your paperwork was successfully processed. All right, Section 4, valid voter ID requirements. Fantastic, you're registered. But hold on, you're not quite ready for the voting booth just yet. Arkansas has some pretty strict photographic ID rules you need to clear. Whether you're voting in person at the polls or sending in an absentee ballot, you have to provide valid photographic identification. You can use an Arkansas driver's license or state ID, a U.S. passport, a concealed handgun carry license, an accredited Arkansas college ID, a U.S. military ID, or a public assistance ID, as long as it has your photo on it. Now, what if you literally don't have any of those? Don't panic. The state provides a free voter verification card. You can get this directly from your county clerk or the Secretary of State's office. And here's another quick tip for you. If you show up to the polls and completely forget your ID, you won't be turned away entirely. You can cast what's called a provisional ballot. But for that vote to actually count, you have to present an accepted ID to the county clerk or election commissioners by noon on the Monday following the election. Now, there is a very specific, easily missed legal detail about your ID that we have to talk about. Look closely at the expiration date on your license or passport. Arkansas law states your ID must be unexpired, or if it is expired, it cannot be expired for more than 4 years before the date of the election. So if it expired 5 years ago, you will be turned away. Go check those dates right now. That leads us right into Section 5, Crucial 2026 Election Deadlines. Let's shift our focus to the calendar. Having your paperwork and ID is awesome, but timing is quite literally everything in Arkansas elections. State law requires you to be registered 30 days before the election you want to vote in. And if that 30th day falls on a weekend or a holiday, the deadline just shifts to the very next business day. So for the 2026 election cycle, you're going to want to mark these dates down immediately. For the preferential primary election on March 3rd, 2026, your registration form must be submitted or postmarked by Monday, February 2nd, 2026. And for the massive general election on November 3rd, 2026, your registration has to be in by Monday, October 5th, 2026. Let me be as clear as I possibly can here. Missing the registration cutoff means you cannot vote in that specific election. There is absolutely no same-day voter registration in Arkansas. I really want to highlight this quote straight from the Arkansas Secretary of State. If you have not received verification from your county clerk, be sure to confirm your registration before Election Day. You see, just submitting a paper form doesn't automatically mean you're registered. The county clerk actually has to process it. Usually, you'll get a physical voter registration card in the mail. If a couple of weeks roll by and you haven't seen it, you need to hop onto the Arkansas Voter View portal online. Just search Arkansas Voter View and check your status. If you aren't showing up there, you need to call your clerk immediately. We have covered a ton of ground today. Now that you know the exact steps, the pen and paper reality, the ID requirements, and those strict deadlines, are you ready to make your voice heard in Arkansas? I highly encourage you to take action today. Go check your registration status, share this explainer with your friends, your family, and any fellow Arkansans who might still be out there hunting for that mythical online registration portal. And just one quick final disclaimer. Election laws can and do shift. While we've given you a really thorough guide based on the latest regulations, please always verify your registration status closer to election time and contact your local county clerk if you have specific or complex questions. With all the ongoing legal battles over wet signatures and paper forms, it really begs the question, will Arkansas eventually join the 42 other states with true online voter registration by 2028, or will pen and paper remain the ultimate gatekeeper to the ballot box? Stay curious, and we'll see you next time.